Good morning and welcome to Coffee and Convo live with Ari and Chosen. Special
What go down?
guest, Frederick Sparkman. Hey, Frederick, I see, I think that's your microphone. I see your microphone.
That's his Papa Stopper. He got his Papa Stopper feature. Frederick Sparkman featuring the Papa Stopper this morning.
Thank y'all for joining us this morning. Last week, our topic was emotional control, how to control your emotions. Ro, can you give us a quick wrap up?
All right, yeah. So if you tuned in, if you didn't tune in last week, we talked about controlling your emotions. We went over a couple of different scenarios. Basically, the one scenario that everybody usually go through with somebody doing wrong. We went with relationships. How you respond to the how you respond to the pain or how you respond to what happens. So we talked about like, yeah, somebody do you greasy, cheat on you or something like that. The first thing you ready to do is go D'Angelo on their ass. Get down, mother sucker. You know what I'm saying? So people be ready to go there with it. But if you look down, like, what did I say last year? I said if you learn how to use your time skip ability and skip ahead to seeing what the
To the possibilities of what
repercussions
would
and the
happen.
consequences to them actions would happen if you went through with your D'Angelo. You know what I'm saying? So we talked about that. How do you get your emotions in check? There's different methods that some people use. Some people use meditation. Some people, they just sit and do just like I said. They think about what it is that's probably going to befall them, and they look at all the variables. Hey, man, I'm the victim in this. I'm the victim. Do I want to be sometime? Do I want to stay the victim or become the victor? Come out of being the victim and then become the victor. So that's what we talked about. So if you missed it last week, then you missed the treat. You know what I'm saying? If you miss any of the weeks, you missed the treat. Because we be on our shit. I'm a curse a little bit. Y'all know me, man. I'm just going. I gotta add the fame to it a little bit. But this week, boy. This is something
So
I've been kind of really
today's
wanting to
topic,
turn into. So today's topic is
underlining messages of our entertainment, social constructs, systems.
Yup.
All
Oh
right.
boy.
So with that
Y'all ain't
being
ready for that.
said, no, I don't think they're ready for that because we're about to blow a hole in what they find entertaining and the next morning's topic of conversation. They're about to find out how they're playing into these man-made systems. Correct?
Boy.
So the first movie we are going to address would be Boys in the Hood.
Let's go.
Let's go. Frederick,
Let's go.
Oh, I'm here.
let's roll. We putting it on you today. Let's roll.
Well, I mean, you think of the whole concept of the movie Boys in the Hood. So they're taking the one guy, Ice Cube's character, and he's the star of the movie. Plus, you got Cuba Gooding Jr. and I don't remember who Ricky was, but no one does.
Morris Chestnut. Morris Chestnut.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm not a fan.
All right.
But I mean, you look at the whole thing, and they're showing basically they're trying to show that he's right in the way he feels because of the way his mom treats him. He just got out of reform school and everything else, and everybody's having a party for him and everything. Whereas you got the guy that's trying to do something with his life, he gets killed. He's gone.
Ricky.
So basically, they said if you do right, you will be killed. We gonna find you and kill you for no damn reason other than the fact that you're trying to do something right.
Chosen.
It's okay. I understand, because us growing up in the 90s, you and me, Ari, you know how it is, growing up in the 90s, and that era was, back in the day when when you had people was getting beat up for their Jordans, people was getting their starter jackets taken, and they felt like that was something that needed to be said. And so you had our producers, movie directors back then, they at least they took a stand. The people, those that look like us that made movies that were like pretty much, that were deemed to be for us. You know what I'm saying?
He's saying
So
black made
yeah,
movies
so
by
yeah,
black
so that
people.
was so my outlook on that whole thing was, hey, if you want to put this movie out and have this, you're gonna have to do this. So the underlying message was, hey, this is what's gonna happen if you live this type of way. This is what's gonna happen if you make these certain decisions and choices. The movie was supposed to say, hey, hopefully the message that people grasp was, I don't, you know what,
Not to go that way.
not to go that way. But
Right.
see how we were, and a lot of people that I grew up with, a lot of people that we all grew up with, everybody looked at Trey as the square. Nobody
Yeah.
wanted to be Trey.
No, nobody wanted to
Everybody
be
wanted to
Trey.
be Doughboy. And it was because the way that they made that movie, they made it look
You mean
like Doughboy
everybody
was the
wanted
one
to
that
be Doughboy?
everybody wanted to be
Correct.
Doughboy. Like everybody wants to be Doughboy because he had the personification that I ain't to be fucked with. You know what I'm saying? Think about it. All your homeboys and all my homeboys, they quoted all of Doughboy's lines.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't nobody quote Trey's lines. Trey was a lame. Trey was he didn't have no excitement, but the line the message was, hey man, if you follow this path and you go to school to Trey, and at the end of the movie you see how they had Trey did this, he went to Morehouse, Brandy went to Morehouse across the way. Doughboy was killed a week later after retaliation from his brother being killed. My whole thing about it is with the movies, man, that we have, like, sometimes we look at the wrong message, and it's like there was almost like no correction in it. And like after I saw Boys in the Hood, the type of person that I was like, okay, I see what's going on. And I lived I grew up in the suburbs, and almost all my other homeboys grew up in the suburbs. It wasn't you ain't had no reason. When we grew up, man, and we grew up in Camden Park, it wasn't no reason for you to sit up and say you gotta sell dope, you gotta sell weed. You had no
Hey,
reason to do that.
now I wasn't too far from you. I
Yeah.
was down the street and around the corner. And I want to say in my area, it really started getting bad in my area.
You was from
after
the
that.
wood.
Yeah.
You was from Rushwood.
Yeah.
Rushwood really wasn't all that bad. It was just like
Yeah, man.
Rushwood
So that
wasn't Fifth Ward.
It was not. And I was
Rushwood wasn't
born there.
Fifth Ward.
It was
And
Fifth Ward.
Rushwood wasn't Gulf Coast Arms Apartments either.
Amazing you brought that up. But we'll visit that later. Frederick, can you give us the spiritual correlation to what we're saying here, please?
Well, basically, in all of these movies, they glorify the violence, they glorify being bad and everything. And it's just like anything else. Nobody wants to be good because it's not exciting. You don't want to follow these rules, because if you do these things like you're supposed to do, then you're going to have a boring life. Nobody wants that. Black people want mess. They want that which evil is fun. Look at it. We got the nice ride. We got the females. We got everything you need.
Why do you suppose that is?
Because they want you to go to hell.
I like how he summed that up.
Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Go straight to
Man.
Okay. Now we also have another movie on our list, and that would be Menace to Society.
Oh my gosh. Everybody wanted to be Old Dog, man. Like
Well,
and
to me that movie was like, okay, when I went to see that movie, my dad took me and my brother to go see it. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
now mind you, when we saw Boys in the Hood, that was a family movie too, because my mother and my father, they took us. We actually seen that movie in California. Like
Oh,
we were
really?
in California when we saw that movie. So they took us to see that movie because it was like one of the movies that showed you like, okay, this is really what our people deal with. And then
Mm-hmm.
for a lot of people, that was like one of the first movies that had your all-star cast and John Singleton. That was John Singleton.
John
John
Singleton.
Singleton did. And it's okay, it was like we don't get that much screen time. So it was
Right.
like, for our own stuff. So they took us to see it, and most people was like, okay, that was a family movie. Why? Because maybe it'll start teaching right from wrong. So we saw that movie, and then and like, all right, cool, we got it. So we go see Menace to Society. I'm sitting in Menace to Society, maybe, okay, we're gonna see, okay, let's come from doing wrong, and then probably, do the same thing as Trey. That was a totally different story here. We all know, we didn't all see Menace to Society, which was a totally different story. But it
Yeah.
comes again to go back to what Frederick was saying. The wrong turn was people grasped and they glorified the wrong shit, like in the movie, like it was people.
Like Doughboy
I feel sorry
and
for your mother, like the whole I feel sorry
yeah,
for your mother.
that
So they
and
made fun of that, and it was what did old dog say in that scene that everybody was saying? It was one quote in that whole stop sign thing that everybody had said or whatever. But anyway,
hold on, let's
everybody
see.
that I know where we grew up with, they glorified all of that. Again, it
So
was another lesson
Well, you
message
know
that
why
was
they
in there.
glorified all of that, because of that little secret meeting that they had back in the day with
Yes,
all the
yep.
producers and all these other people.
For the
Now,
private
what they wanted
prisons.
to do, yeah, they wanted to
the
fill their
private prison.
Fill
private
the
prison.
private prisons.
Yeah, and
So
right now they have everything set up from school to prison yard.
There we
That's the
go.
way.
Right
That's why they
there.
got
hmm
cops in the schools right now. So
So
you get in trouble in school now, so that you go straight to jail.
straight to jail.
and that
And it's
that
like,
that ties into what we were saying when we said earlier, the systems. It's the
yeah,
man-made systems. Okay.
but you got to
So
also understand that when you look at the Constitution, now the Constitution says it ended slavery, correct?
mm-hmm.
Unless you break the law.
Unless you break the law.
Now, if you break the law, you right back in slavery. See, slavery hasn't ended. They just called it prison.
That's right. Do we have any
I want you.
comments? Is
I want
anybody
you
in
to
here?
repeat that. No, I want you to repeat that. We have two watchers live with us.
All right,
We
cool.
have been getting traction, and of course, I'm sure there are other people watching, and I'm not really seeing anything going. Because what
That's all
we're
right.
doing right now, we're talking about something that's very serious out here. Um, how these movies and basically our entertainment um, is promoting violence, relationships,
Now,
drugs.
why do you keep saying our entertainment? You mean the entertainment that's foisted upon us? You
Yes,
mean the
that
entertainment
the entertainment
they
that is
drop in
forced
our face?
upon
I
us.
would go so far as to say the entertainment that is given or what they are allowed, because I mean what they project and what they have to include in order to put their part of their vision out to try to get. Okay, well, go ahead. Go what you can say, Ross.
Because what I was about to say is, and the reason being is because what we're constantly taking in, we start to emulate. Some desire to, and Frederick, don't take this as though I'm saying you and I are wanting to emulate it. I'm speaking as a collective here. There
Okay.
are people out here that begin to worship what they're seeing and hearing and want
Yeah,
to be
to assimilate.
there you
To
go. There you
to
go. There you go.
assimilate.
That's
Yeah,
right.
is what you.
So
So you
uh
calling them the Borg and they're a Borg full of idiots. I'm sorry. Who wants to emulate going to jail?
you'd be
Man, you'd be
surprised. You would be
surprised.
surprised.
Okay, you
Me
would be
personally, I got a
surprised.
problem with running from Roscoe. So
You say you got a problem with what?
running from Roscoe because I'm not in there to get initiated. I'm like Tom on the Boondocks. I'm afraid of being anally raped. So I'm not gonna go and do these
But
things that might cause anally
but you know, there's a lot of people it's some people that just like I usually always say, well, you got some people say that ain't gonna happen to me, or they say, well,
And
I gotta do what I gotta do. I've actually heard people sit up and say, like I've heard a father talk about where he's been and his daughter. Like if you mess with my daughter, it's I'll do 2 to 10 behind my daughter. I'm ready. I'm prepared. You got some people with that mentality.
And then while he's doing the 2 to 10, she ran right back to him.
Thank you. Okay, but still, they still say stuff like that.
But he in prison and can't do nothing to help his daughter.
You can't do nothing for So it's like,
that's right.
But you know what? We haven't you seen so many posts on Facebook with the little T-shirts or whatever? They say my daughter is pretty, but I'm ready for war and all this. Like you think like that. I think like that, but you got some people that just had this barbaric mindset. They'd be like, "Oh, I'll do this," but you're not thinking that the fact that you out of the picture, don't you know that there's no protection for the people you say you about to protect? Like really, you know what I'm saying? So it's like a lot of the entertainment that we have given, it puff your chest, so make you, you power up and you take the wrong message, and that's why a lot of people y'all hear me use this term a lot called edutained. You know what I'm saying? When I say edutained, it's like you have to look at the underlying message in the entertainment that we are given. And when I say our entertainment, just like when Frederick was saying, what you mean our, like the stuff that we're given. Like every time a black movie come out or a black director come out, or whatever, most of the time our people want to flock to it to go see what it is and go check out what it is. Okay, they say support this and go
to support the black community.
Go support the black community and say we happy to see that you are in. We're happy to see that it's happening for you, and we want to see it because we get to be honest, like I said, it's like how you see we've been watching all these other movies for eons. Even then, when Boyz in the Hood and Menace Society came out, that we still didn't. Our directors and screenplay writers, the screenplay writers and the directors that look like us, they didn't own any of the studios, so they had to play ball with Hollywood. They had to play ball with all that.
Tyler Perry.
He does now. He does now. That's what I was going. Yeah, he does now. But they had to go in order for them to get this in. Like you said, this goes back to what you said too, Frederick, when you was talking about that meeting. Me and you know about that meeting. And if you were going to do this, there had to be a deal that was struck. So you want to put this movie out here? Okay, cool. They control the time the movie drops. They control whatever. You got to turn that script in for those for the hierarchy to proofread that script. So let's just sit up and say that at the end, what if they have multiple endings? Let's sit up and say, what if that ending had been like Ricky went to school and he survived that gunshot? And then it's okay, you know what? Now let's take this out. No, Ricky dies. So we can't have an end all be all. It can't be a good that we got to show what goes on with the time so that we can be able to not go against the agenda we have set. Because they had that agenda and it couldn't be. So you
can say the same thing for New Jack City, right?
Because I was just getting ready to say that. Man, I was just getting ready to say I was gonna bring New Jack City in there, and you can't forget Juice. What this all comes to is this: all of our movies, all of the movies that we have that are centering people of color, they all have to start, shows and movies. They all have to have some type of dark origin, and it's like it's a dark origin. Like, dude gotta either once done sold drugs, or he had to came off of a bid, and now he gotta make it right, like South Central. Another one, the dude he had his son, he was in prison. He came back, his son was heading down the same road that he was. It's like we never get we very rarely get the Hallmark treatment. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like our stuff cannot be simple. Our stuff just can't be simple. It gotta be complex than a motherfucker. It's like, and it gotta be complex. And we're gonna get on that.
I got some words for you that you'll never hear in any black movie.
Okay.
Well, if you do this or if you do that, I'm gonna disown you and you won't be getting an inheritance.
Man, I'm trying to.
That is so true.
That's Lifetime movie network.
Yeah, that's what that is.
Dude, but it's like in our entertainment, we always have the harsh environment in our entertainment.
That is true.
It's either and if you see it
now, let me address that because I want to say this is why the Cosby Show went so long, because the Cosbys didn't have that harsh environment.
No, they didn't.
Okay, neither did
Different
A
world.
Different World. You know, so
But that was a
they
spinoff from Cosby.
yeah,
Spin
it
off
was
from
a
Cosby,
spinoff
yeah.
from the Cosbys, and they were trying to show our culture in a brighter light,
Like in a
Well,
in a
see,
brighter
the thing
light.
positive
was,
light.
is
Go ahead.
right then was what you would call a black um, conscious movement back then was the
Hmm.
beginning of it. And the later 90s, after they had that meeting, is when all of our movies got hard and all that other stuff. But back then was the beginning of a black conscious movement in the early 90s. Everything was positive. Everybody loved that everything was positive.
Do
You
y'all
couldn't go
remember?
around saying all the things that you say now or used
Thank
to be
you.
able to say right after that.
Thank you.
Mm.
Because back then, black people were moving forward as a whole.
Yeah,
Mm.
they were. We
Mm.
were.
We had to put a stop to this nonsense.
Do y'all
Oh,
remember? Do y'all remember also? Like do y'all remember also like on all our and even in your music, it wasn't no
Hmm.
cursing on radio play.
That
The
is
only
true.
time you got your cursing was when you bought the album. You bought the
That's right.
album,
And they had it
and they
marked
had
explicit.
marked
They had,
explicit.
yeah,
Everything is
they did.
explicit now. So you know,
you can't get
but
away from it.
you can't get away from it. So everything is explicit now, and you know it's you have to look for the underlying message, what they show you, and you know what they show you and what they plan to show you. It goes again back to when I was telling you about the recipe. When you know if y'all haven't tuned in, if y'all just not tuned in, I gave this example about what you need to survive, and if I cook this pie or pizza,
Hmm. That
and
pizza.
I put the stuff you need at the end of the crust. Now I know that everybody's not going to eat the whole slice, but I know that hey, what I put in this pizza was what you need just to see, because I can't give it to everybody. I'm only gonna give it to the ones that see past what it is that they want. Now you know you want the cheese, you want the sauce, you want the pepperoni, whatever toppings it is. That's the good part. That's the fun part that you like to have. But then if you eat the rest of this, then yeah, you'll be more enlightened. You'll be able to see the underlying message. You'll be able to see more and open up your third eye or whatever. But that's how it is with most movies. If you just look at most movies and our entertainment, listen to our music for just a face value, and you're not opening your you know, you don't open your third eye and you just can't go past that
Perfect.
the good
Because
stuff, then yeah.
I want to take that right there, because we're not saying it's all urban movies that have these underlying messages. With that, I want to take the major one, the Avengers, and yeah, you're smiling, Let's go for it,
And
run with it.
my thing about this is a lot of the movies that people that I know, like our people, we don't look at a lot of movies like that because what is usually the absence in that? The black
Black
element.
folks.
Black folks. When we grew up with Superman, Superman was white.
Hmm.
We watched Conan. Conan was he wasn't black.
Yep,
You know,
that was
Arnold Schwarzenegger
Arnold.
wasn't white.
Arnold
That was Arnold, but he
Schwarzenegger.
wasn't black. He was Austrian.
Hmm.
You
Austrian.
know, he you know, we looked at those, you know, Luke Skywalker, he
Hmm.
was another hero, he was white, you know what I'm saying? So we had all of these, and so you didn't really, if you unless you were into that, you really didn't pay too much attention. It was just fun. It was
Hmm.
lightsabers and blasters. It was a man flying around and saving folks and all that. So you didn't
Which
pay
is what
attention.
most people took
So which
away from
so
it. It
which
was just a good
so
movie.
which yeah, but what you missed was you missed the white man savior God complex. You
Hmm.
missed it. This dude can get shot and won't nothing happen to him. He can walk and he can look up in the sky as a bird of play. He can leap tall buildings in a single bound, and it's like this. And he was just that. And it was we all need him. So when you go to Avengers now that what I believe and what I see that's been embedded into our minds is okay. They're fun. You take your kids
Hmm.
to go see them because it's fun. Yeah, it's cool because we was young. We had our heroes.
Hmm.
But if you didn't look at the but if you were wise enough to notice the underlying meaning and all of that, like Avengers came and you started dealing with otherworldly forces. Then when you
Hmm.
take this, like if you go from because all Avengers did was it was a culmination to like the Infinity War and all of that. But through that 10 years, they covered a lot of things. They brought things together. So they brought the unknown to the forefront. So if you remember, if you watched Avengers, if you remember how Tony Stark acted come Iron Man 3, because he had just saw the Shatari. He never seen those aliens. So this Joker had a whole complex. He was paranoid. He said, "Man, I never seen nothing like this before in my life." What are a lot of people doing now? You got crystals, you got obsidians, you got all these energies, and everybody's talking about energy. And not a lot of people talked about energy. So we talk about energy, which wasn't man-made, is a celestial element, and people are trying to understand it. So it's at the forefront. So you take that aspect and you start looking at that. Now we got to prepare. We have to prepare. It's not just physically. You got to prepare mentally and spiritually. You hear more people talk about being spiritual more than ever now, because it's something that's new that's on the horizon. Same thing with Tony Stark. So when you have all these different movements going around, if you've watched Captain America: Winter Soldier, they had the whole thing. They gave you the game in that movie. I mean, they
do it in a lot of movies, but because of the fact that we're only concerned with the entertainment part, a lot of people don't sit back and actually listen to what's being said or watch what's going on.
Y'all didn't catch how them cops were shooting at Nick Fury?
In
Captain America: Winter Soldier.
Right, man. Yep.
This dude, now look, this dude was for SHIELD. SHIELD, the government.
SHIELD turned on him.
Yeah, and SHIELD turned on him. And then you saw how that point where all them cops were shooting at him. Then, like, the stuff that they said in when Steve and Natasha, Black Widow, and Captain America went in that bunker and they were learning about what Hydra was. They gave you the game right there. They were basically telling you, they said, hey, we create these we create these calamities, we create these catastrophic events. We create them and give them to the people so that whenever they look at it, they're willing to give up their freedoms for a false sense of security. They gave it to you right there. But if you just going in there to watch the Hulk, watch Iron Man, you're going to miss all
Hulk
of that.
Smash. You worried about who he going to smash, how far he going to throw him. You miss everything.
You're going to miss all of that.
Everything.
You know what I'm saying? So, and
it's
like,
not only for those that watch it and are oblivious to what they're really watching, but for those that don't watch it because they say it's not entertaining to them, it's not their cup of tea. So even they are missing the point of what's going on.
So Frederick, when you said before the show started, and I got to backtrack a little bit, and what did you say? Oh man.
Why you wrapping your mind around that, Frederick? Because you've been
quiet,
go ahead. So you didn't already summed up everything you were gonna say when you said because they want you to go to hell. But but I want you to
think about it like this. In all of these movies, they have one underlying theme, as Chosen was talking about. So everybody's getting more spiritual now. Okay, that's one of your big checks. Okay, so what they're bringing in now is they're bringing in alien powers. They're bringing in all of these other things to let you know that there is no God.
To tell you that there is no God. To make you believe that there is no God.
The big deal is to tell you what to think. If you look at school systems and the way everything is set up right now, no, they're not teaching freedom of thought. No one's trying to explain anything to you. No one's trying to get you to understand anything. They're telling you what to think, how to think, and if you don't think the same way they do, then they accost you in the media. They try to destroy your
become
life.
Ostracized and everything.
Oh yes. Well, see, the whole thing is there's no such thing as freedom of thought now. You got the thought police running around. Okay, well, you got to call me, like old girl said when she was talking about she met the transgender person, and she said she really don't have a problem with their life view or whatever. But if she calls them what they want to be called, then she sounds like a runaway slave. So they over here. Now they done went down there. Well, where is they? I don't know where they is. But we ain't seen they in a while. So it's so ridiculous that they're coming up with these things. Okay, I know man and woman. Okay. Yeah. If you want to shoot me down for saying that, that's not my problem. That's like when I wrote the Beginning's Guide and Workbook, How to Read and Understand Your Bible. Now, I had someone to go in there and call me a fake or false teacher because I brought up two things. One was I used the scriptures that talked about homosexuality and says, if you do these things, you shall not enter into heaven. I'm sorry.
That's what it says.
Not my words.
That's clearly what it says.
Now, the other thing is, and I know we totally disagree on this, but it was bringing up whether or not Paul was an apostle.
Yeah, you and I really disagree on this one.
Well, I'm not going to go deep into that, but the issue is, the way I put it out in the book is you decide.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what they're doing is they're deciding what they want you to hear. They're deciding what they want you to know, and they're deciding how they want you to respond.
That's it.
Okay. I understand that. I hear your argument. But again, like I said, you and I are on opposite sides on this one. You know, that's for another show, though.
But the thing is that we are allowed to be on opposite sides.
Mm-hmm.
They want to think for you. There is no opposite side. You think like us or deal with the consequences.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Like I said, that's for another show, though. We will get into that. This one right here today, we are going to still focus on systems and social constructs and the underlining messages of our entertainment.
I just did.
I love your points of view. I really do.
I just did. I just went a little deeper.
Yeah.
Chosen has his trigger. I got mine.
I know. All right. So we'll visit that another day. All right. We also brought up the movie Holiday Heart when we were discussing what topics to bring up today. But do you both remember that movie?
I've never seen it.
You've never seen Holiday Heart?
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately,
because this is the
Ving
thing.
Rhames plays a drag queen.
Drag queen.
Oh, you talking about? Is that like a long time ago?
Yes, it's one of the.
I think I started and kicked off of it. I'm like, I ain't watching this crap.
Yeah, unfortunately, because you got to think of. I think of the time that we grew up in. Man, that type of stuff was just frowned upon. Like,
yeah,
it was frowned upon. It wasn't. I think the first time. I can go back to the first time I actually heard the word gay. When it was, I don't know if y'all remember on Showtime, there used to be this show on Showtime called Bizarre.
No.
It was like a little sitcom, like a little, on cable TV they used to have like these little old 30-minute slots where they had like sitcoms. It was like Saturday Night Live, but in 30 minutes. So.
No.
Yeah, but this was on Showtime and it was called Bizarre. Well, they had this one guy that was on there, and it was this one white guy who was on there. My mom said, she was talking to one of my friends. I just happened to be ear hustling. I think I had to be maybe about 6 or 7, and she said he's gay, and I didn't know what that was, and I was like, what is gay? I was inclined to just go and get in the dictionary, so I looked up the word gay.
Did it say joyous? Did it say happy?
Joyous and happy.
There it is. That's what I
was like, and so when I came back in the room, and I said, well, and I had the dictionary in my hand. I came back in the room, and I was like, so what's wrong with him being joyous and happy? And
that's how we learned. That's how we learned.
It was like.
Do you remember the Flintstones?
Yes.
The song, and we'll have a gay old time.
Yeah. Right. So we do. So when she tells me, and I said, so what's wrong? She said, well, he's not. That's not what that means. And now we got a contradiction.
So Webster was wrong?
I'm looking in the book, and you didn't write this book. So now I got questions. So what does it really mean? So later on, she told me, I guess she felt like I was ready to understand. She said, well, he likes other men. And so I was like, oh, so he want to act like a girl. And she was like, yeah. And I was like, okay, all right, now I understand. So that was the first.
Let me cut you off for a second there. Because the word gay still means what it always meant before.
Happy.
The word was co-opted by people. If you ever notice when they first start trying to introduce the homosexual lifestyle to everybody, they was always happy and joyous. So they're gay. Oh, we're gay. We're happy and joyous. Homosexuals. But we're happy and joyous that we're doing this thing. Yeah. But the thing is, they was co-opting the meaning of the word. But back in the day, because I'm older than both of you.
Yes.
And back in the day, gay simply meant happy.
It
Yeah,
still
But even
means
when I was
happy.
really still means happy.
It still
but
means
even
happy.
when I was growing up, they start co-opting it and everything else. But that's basically saying you think like us. We're gonna take your language and we're gonna make it mean something different than what it is. Like the Bible says, in the last days, up will be down, left will be right,
Right.
right will be wrong.
Yep.
I mean, that's just like Run DMC when they used to say not bad meaning bad, but bad meaning good.
Right. Yep.
Where do we get this from? There's people co-opting what our words mean. Those words still mean what they've always meant. But the social construct has taken that word and used it as a rallying call.
Man-made systems.
Man-made system, social construct. So what I was getting at, so another part of that, what I was getting at, thank you for adding to that, Fred, as always. Always count on you for that. It was frowned down upon. So I think that's another reason why you had this tension between, it being so in the forefront now. And it's like, it's hard to be like, I mean, I can accept you for who you are.
If that's the road
you want to go down, that's you.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? You can still be the most magnificent person to me. And still do whatever it is that you want to do. That's just your decision. A lot of people have a problem with the forcing it on people that grew up in the era that I grew up. It's like, oh, they used to call them everything though. They kind of funny, kind of sweet. It was frowned upon. It was sugar in your tank. It was frowned upon. Now with the normalization, it goes back into what today's topic is: the systems that are being created, the looking. Now everything has to have that in it. Everything has to have. It has to have it in it. Oh, you gotta have. Let me read this script real quick. Rising conflict. Looks like rising conflict. Check. Oh, resolved conflict. Check. Wait. Where's the boy love? Where's the girl on girl?
Yeah.
Like, where is it?
Everything has it.
Everything has it, and it's like So the good and so the yin and yang to that is okay. If that's what you want to do, then that's what you want to do. My gripe is, why does it have to be? This was always my gripe. Why does it always have to be in there? When you got so many movies that ain't got not one white person, that ain't got one black person in it.
Like I said, like we were saying earlier, there are things we do not see on Hallmark, Lifetime Movie Network. I don't see any of that on Hallmark movies. I do not watch my Christmas movies and see that in my Christmas shows.
Nope.
Okay, I got another thing. You know who started that? This is the new black. 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 Well, they used a feminist female, black feminist female, to start shoving that crap down people's throats. A sellout is a sellout. I don't care what color they are. And this is the new black. That's the new black. There ain't no such thing as a damn new black. We still black.
Black has always been black.
So there ain't no new black around this camp.
All right. That's it. I got the black orange is the new black.
And the first one you want out of is the black one, because you use the black one to draw the lines around everything else so that you can color it in. You use black more than anything, and then you color all the rest of the colors. You want to know why? Because the black one is the one that's going to have to work harder than anybody else, even though you're coloring them in.
Yep.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I can agree with that.
So you have to really watch what you ingest, man. Like, and
that's the bottom line.
That's the bottom line. You got to watch what you ingest, and it's not so much as saying that you control it, because you really, it's like, let's see, if you drank unfiltered water, but you know you needed to drink some water, and you didn't know exactly what was in it. I drank it because it was wet and it would quench my thirst, but that iodine and them other metals that you don't need in that water, you still drank that. That's not just saying, just because you thought that you liked the water doesn't mean that the metals got into you, and now you feel, so now you wonder, why do I feel like this? Why do I feel why my head hurt?
Brain eating amoeba. He drank his water too.
So
and he had that amoeba in it that ate his brain.
Yeah.
So the thing about, I'm using that water as an analogy. It's like our music. So many people like to sit up and say, man, it's the beat. I listen to this song because it's the
That's
beat.
why I prefer instrumentals.
Man, I'm trying to tell
That's why I
don't
prefer
you get some of them instrumentals that I be sending you, and I be like, oh, I got one I gotta send you. It's gonna make you laugh because the thing about instrumentals is the instrumentals don't they guide you, but they don't exactly tell you what to think and what to feel. They guide it, but it's not like how, okay, well, I'm gonna go back to Frederick. Like Frederick said, they guide your thoughts. Your thoughts are not your own. You don't have the freedom of thought anymore because how they. But it's like with instrumentals, I can sit up and listen to the same song, the same instrumental, and we can sit up there and talk about something. I had like a totally different feel on what that makes me feel, and I can draw a scene from that. Your scene, and if we do come from if we do have a congruent, if we do get a congruent illustration of that scene, then that's a good thing too. It just says that we're in tune, but you still didn't have it thought for you.
The picture
Like,
wasn't painted for me.
yeah, it wasn't painted for you. It's like, well, you know what? I kind of thought that too, but I didn't see it that way, and that's a good thing. But then, like you said, that's why they call movies and television shows and radio shows a program. That's why they call them a
They
program.
programming you.
We will now return you to your regularly scheduled program.
So that you
We
can
have
continue
regularly
your re-education.
Mind scheduled to make your children into idiots. We have regularly scheduled to show you a whole bunch of mess and make you think. We have regularly scheduled to change your sexuality.
So
Okay, so but we're not knocking them for going out there and making their money, but I'm knocking them not being conscious of the message they're getting over to their people.
they conscious of it. It's
they
just they conscious of it, but no, but I'm not saying you're wrong. It's just that yeah. I'm not
What
saying
did you
I'm
say,
not
Frederick?
okay.
The word programming itself denotes that they are conscious of what they're doing.
The people that are behind the broadcasting, I can say that. I can agree
The
with that.
people that are engaging in the broadcasting know what the hell is going on.
So you believe that everyone that's involved in it are aware of what's actually going on and what's being relayed to the public? You're saying that everyone that's involved.
You know a tree by its fruit.
Okay. Rochelle says you have to remember.
Then that's what's meant to happen.
Okay. Rochelle says you have to remember that in the older generation, certain topics were to stay behind closed doors. Topics such as men being with men and women being with women, teenage pregnancy were not found in public. However, with each generation that has come, she wrote a book, hold on. Come forth, those topics have moved further into the public eye. The media tries to portray that it is normal to be that way. So the newer generations come to the conclusion that it's fine to participate in these types of endeavors.
No. The new generation is told that it's okay because that's what they're watching.
That's what she's saying.
That's what she's saying. That's what she's saying.
She's saying because when we were growing up, there are everything what was the word they used? Taboo. And it was hush hush. If you overheard an adult talking about something like this and you mention it, we were told shut up and stay out of grown folks' business. You know,
children are to be seen and not heard.
Children are to be seen and not heard. Go outside, go play. So this type of stuff was not discussed within the home. Okay, but she's right. As the generations progressed, it started becoming more and more apparent and more dinner conversation, things like that, you know. So now with the younger generation seeing this, it's out there, you know, we're talking about it every day. Now it's normal. It has become what the
new normal. It's not the new norm because if you look, you have the conservatives that are overpowering these quackpots. It ain't the new normal. It's being rejected every day.
Well, I'm not arguing with that. It is being rejected for those that
it's being rejected for those. It's being rejected for like people like us that know otherwise. We know otherwise.
The younger generation, if they're not taught properly, they are taking it as it being normal. It's okay to do it. You still have to see. This is where parenting comes in. This is where parenting comes in, where you have to sit your child down and explain to them right from wrong. Where they're being, like you say, programmed and people are thinking for them, telling them what to think, to, darling, have your own mind, and here's the tools you need to make your an affirmative decision. Right, wrong, true, false.
The way I handle that is I give it to you in the form of I tell you about the consequences, and I tell you about the pros and cons. I tell like for instance with my
Okay, so
cubs.
are you doing the pros and cons from society or
Yeah,
scriptural?
well, check this out. I'll take this. When you said that you teaching your children right from wrong, yes, you're supposed to, but they have an inkling of what right and wrong is. They have an
Yeah.
inkling of, for instance, when my son was in elementary school, my oldest was in elementary school, and he saw people sagging. And he was like, why they wearing their pants like that? My son ain't never seen me wear my pants like that. But when he seen something that was different from juxtaposed to what me, my father, my brother, the people that he grew up with the closest that he seen on there, he asked what it was. And I was like, okay. I told him exactly what it is. So do you think you want to wear your pants like that? It's like, it kind of looked cool. Okay, well, let me give you a little rundown backstory on where this came from. And then once I did that, they gave it to
You
you
told
where
them
it
where
came
it really
from
came
and where it
from.
originated from. Because I don't want you to be dumb. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to tell you this to scare you, because maybe one day, you know, if you decide that this is the road you want to transcend, then you can't never tell me that I didn't teach you. It's the same thing it is with
I mentioned that
profanity.
to someone at one
The
time.
first time I heard my son use a profane word, it wasn't be like, boy, I'm finna beat your ass. It was like, come here, where did you hear that word? What do you think it means? Okay, this is what it really means. Now, have I always told you to use your correct words the way you want to be able to be looked at to be intelligent? Yes. So what did we say shit was? What is shit? Oh, that's just a word I heard. No, okay, there's a reason why that word is a what is shit. So you couldn't tell me. So I had to tell him, say, now they say, oh, that was funny as shit. Now, did that make any sense?
No.
Funny, because shit means is actually an acronym from back in the day when they had the boats to ship the manure from one country to another, or from one destination to another on a boat. They put it at the bottom, close to the boiler room, and that's why the manure would smell. So they put SHIT on the crates. That meant ship high in transit, because it was boo-boo in there. So that's where that came from. And if you don't know that, you just listening to everybody say shit, then yeah, of course you're going to keep saying shit because it sounds funny. It sounds cool. So once I told them that, I'm like, okay, now use that to say, do you want to be looked at as somebody that don't know what they're talking about? No, sir, I don't. Okay, then we're going to use better words. I told them all them words. Bitch, fuck. I told them all. And I don't have no problem out of that. Fornication under consent of the king. Our entertainment will do that. It'll give you all that stuff to spew out, because you hear your favorite actors, you hear your favorite artists, you regurgitate what you heard because regurgitated what you heard because they are what? They are in a place where you may fantasize or dream to be. Like, okay, if you want to be an actor, you watch one of your favorite actors play this character, and that character might say some of these things because that's something that you might want to be or something that you might want to emulate. You don't see anything wrong with it. But that comes from the generation not having proper guidance from their elders, which is why elders are important. They don't have proper guidance from their elders to say, they do this because of this. They say this because of this. Now, what you have to do is ask this question to yourself. You're going to one day be an elder or grow to be, in training to be an elder yourself.
You're in training to be an elder, that's right.
To be an elder yourself. You are supposed to be looking at what kind of elder do you want to be. The things that you take in, you have a choice whether you can reject it or accept it. Because you're going to process everything anyway. So it's what do you want to take into your being, and what do you want to reject? Because we'll go back to what we said about children having an inkling of knowing what's right and wrong.
Right from wrong.
So like if you sit up there, you know, like if they sit up there and they be like, this man shot this guy at the store. First impulse was, that's not good. He's not moving. He's supposed to move. There's something wrong with that. So if you got somebody that was evil that did it, and they try to explain to that young child, they're like, well, the reason why that man ain't moving anymore is because this man had something that he wanted, and he felt that it was his. So you know, when you go into what it is, children are already being conflicted by that because they're gonna ask one question that they always ask, that 3-letter word, why?
Why?
And then after that,
Why?
the reshaping of their mind, the reshaping of their thought process is in your hands. They're already going against it because they saw that it was wrong. So if you sit up there, it's like in Star Wars, damn, the one of the Darth when he told Anakin, he said, man, I shouldn't have did that. I shouldn't have killed him. He was supposed to stand trial. He said, well, he cut off your arm. You wanted vengeance, cause and effect. It was like he knew what the right thing was. He knew. He told you I shouldn't have done that. Dude just wanted to sit up there and appease to him and make him feel better about a wrong decision that he did, a wrong act that he did. Children come with it. Adults,
we have a comment.
Yeah.
I think.
We have a comment.
Leroy.
Yep, Leroy
Right.
Boyd. He says we have to understand that some social constructive systems headquarters has been set up in Hollywood and in the music industry by Satan and seducing spirits that has gone out to manipulate the masses of people in our society. We learn to identify such spirits to teach your children to open their eyes before deception takes root, which is what this show is meant to do today.
I have no rebuttal.
I don't either. Frederick? Oh, of course. Let's go.
I mean, I understand exactly what he's saying here, but you also have to understand the concept that, as you say, manipulate the masses in our society. Well, it's almost illegal to teach your children right from wrong these days. They're starting to say that these people are, that the children belong to the society itself and not to the parent.
Right.
So if you go against what is the norm, they're teaching your children lie after lie after lie. And it's becoming almost illegal for you to tell them the truth or to give them the truth. They're teaching them in college now. They can't even get an education or an indoctrination without.
That's why they call it a doctrine.
Nonsense. That's why most of the men of the society, they're opting out of college altogether and going into trades because they don't want to be dealing with this stuff. They're teaching men that it's better to act like a woman, and it's bad to be manly. It's bad to be masculine.
Okay.
So yeah, I understand that we have these things out there, and I understand that they've been set up. But the issue is we need to point them out.
And that's what he's saying. Okay. So 5 minutes. We're gonna wrap up. Last bullet points. Chosen, you have any last bullet points?
Man, all in a whole, in a nutshell, it's okay to be entertained, but at all times you want to make sure that you educate yourself. So don't just be entertained, be edutained. So with entertainment that you deal with, our entertainment, whatever entertainment, you know what I'm saying? Science fiction, don't watch science fiction, watch science fiction. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if there's always something, in order to believe something that is false, you have to have a bit of truth. It's the duality of it. There's always going to be
the truth is
the
the bait. I think they use that bit of the truth as the bait and to turn it around to form the thoughts that they want you to have. Frederick, any last words?
Yeah, that's on the screen. You ain't. Be real.
Yeah, that's on the screen. What you aspire to be, and you sitting in the audience rooting.
I mean, if you look at it, you know it's not real. Why are you trying to do what you know it's not real?
Well, they tried it with Jurassic Park. They tried that, man. Hold up, dude. They tried that. That doggone movie was the doggone mosquito that was preserved in the amber, and it was millions of years. And then they told you, we take the calcified mosquito in the sap and then extract the DNA. Boom, dino DNA. They did it, and they tried it. They tried to bring back the woolly mammoth.
T-Rex coming down the street. I'm gonna go in my back room and grab my Mosin because people like to hide behind stuff, and I'm gonna take care of the T-Rex. My rounds are 7.6554. Trust me,
I love it. Thank y'all for joining Coffee and Convo live with Ari and Chosen today. Special guest, Frederick Sparkman. Hope y'all got something out of this. Going forward, remember what you're watching, what you're listening to, is, as we say, programming. Please look deeper than the surface.
Watch
Enjoy
what you
your
watch.
Sunday. Watch what you watch. Enjoy your Sunday. Love you all.
God bless.